Well, welcome back everybody. It is another edition of Let's Unbox a Guitar. It is April the 11th, 2025. It is a beautiful early spring afternoon. Temperatures 71, 72 degrees, which after a long, very cold winter, I can only tell you can imagine how good that feels. So today's guitar is, I've already had, this will be my fourth, maybe fifth. This is a Fesley. This is the FST 350M. I got it because the price was incredibly tempting, and this is a color that I hadn't had yet. This is black. Not a guitar I would normally choose, a color I would normally choose. But for the price, I thought, what the heck, more than likely I will sell this guitar once I establish that it's in good working order. I sometimes wonder, this did come from Temu, the packing on this makes me suspicious that this guitar perhaps was a return for an open box of some kind, but I'm a naturally suspicious person, so I look at the boxes and this box was sort of blown apart. Yeah, so we'll just free it from its tape and see what we have. There's so much tape. Tape everywhere, I tell you. Yes, and the Fesley guitars, which come with a decent gig bag. I mean, considering that a lot of guitars no gig bag, so I figure if you get something halfway decent and it's part of the price, consider that to be a fair bargain. Here we go. This will be really quick. There's not much to comment on about this guitar, since again I've owned a few of them. My biggest curiosity is that if the fret ends will be in reasonable condition, since I do believe the other ones that I've gotten needed a little bit of work to get them happy. Well, this feels reasonable. So let us continue on with this. Let's do this very carefully, because if you need to return the guitar, you want to have the packaging as unaffected as possible, because sometimes they use that as a bargaining chip if you don't take the time to free this. So here it is. Behold the beauty. Yeah, this has got dust and stuff on it, and yeah, so I'm going to write to them. I do think that this was potentially a return. It just has some of those telltale signs, although black does have the annoying habit of showing dust in the easiest of ways, but I'm just going to ask. It never hurts to ask, is it possible? So, yeah, the fret ends actually feel pretty good on this. Alright, well, I'm going to go plug it in and give it a whirl, so we'll be back later on with some commentary. Ooh, welcome back everybody. Again, it is April the 11th, 2025. It's a Friday afternoon. This is the Fesley FST 350M, the Super Strat style guitar. And again, by my count, I had a pink one, I had what they called the gray one, I've got a 400, which is just the dark fingerboard. It's not rosewood, but you know, pretty much it's the same. And then I've also got the blue one. So I can say with confidence, these are really, really sharp guitars. They currently sell for, I think Amazon's selling them for $100, $110. If you go to Temu, they have them all over the place depending on the color. $110, some are $70, some are $80, some are $90. Anyways, for a budget guitar, for under $100, I highly recommend this guitar. And again, I'm not recommending it, I'm just saying if you're looking for a guitar that's in that price range, that needs very little work out of the box, I'm going to touch up the fret ends a little bit. Other than that, very playable out of the box. The stock strings on it sound nice. The frets are clean. They may not be polished to some people's specifications, but there's certainly no grittiness or noise or scratchiness. I don't notice any high frets. I love the neck on these guitars. The satin finish is my preference. Some people like the gloss finish on maple. I much prefer on both the fingerboard and the back of the neck to have a satin finish. The tuners work fine. The pickups sound really nice. The controls work well. The switch is nice and tight. The output jack. Again, it's just really nice. My issue with this guitar is, it's my humble belief that this guitar was a return / open box used guitar for a couple reasons. As I mentioned, when I first pulled it out of the box, it was sort of peppered with smudges and fingerprints. It had dust in areas that you would only find on a guitar that had been out and been played. And I didn't notice at first, but the plastic had been removed from the pickups. So that's definitely odd. And then, again, I'm not really sure. The pictures of this particular guitar showed that it came with a tuner. Although I looked at my other FST 350M, no tuner. So I don't know if that's just a misprint on their part. But it said it came with a tuner and there was no tuner. So I'm going to say that someone snatched that when they pulled this out. Anyways, I have contacted both Temu and Fesley and expressed my dissatisfaction with what I consider to be, false advertising. A brand new guitar should be brand new. The box, the sealing on the box was highly questionable. Just the way it was blown apart and taped, and just seemed extra flaky. Seemed very suspicious. The back, lots of extra tape and crap. So anyways, I'll let them know. With that being said, overall very satisfied with the guitar. So again, as I promised, quick review, because this is the 4th time I've reviewed this exact guitar other than the color. Black's not my favorite color, but again, the plan was to resell this guitar and hopefully someone, a lot of people like black guitars. I personally, I've got a couple of them. It's the only color that I could get them in. I've got a Dan Electro and I've also got a silver tone. So anyways, boom bada bing. The next guitars that I'm waiting for, one's coming from Amazon, it's on back order, and then I've got 2 more guitars coming from Temu on a slow boat from China, and I may never get them because if the currently imposed 140% tariff on Chinese imports exists, I'm not going to pay that, so I'll just cancel the order and get my money back, because they were budget guitars to begin with, and to add 140% to them would be just absolutely ridiculous. So stay tuned for the outcome of that. And until then, wherever you are, hopefully springtime is starting to kiss you as well. It was a long, cold winter here. And I do say for all the people in the northern tier states, east of the Rockies, not so much in Washington. The tip of Idaho gets some gnarly stuff, but not too bad. But Montana and North and South Dakota and Minneapolis and Wisconsin and Michigan and all those states, they know what a long cold winter's like, and nothing is sweeter than the slow arrival of spring. And it does arrive slow here. But it's starting to arrive, so when you get your first 2 or 3 70, 71 degree days, it's just really delightful. Anyways, we'll see you back. It's probably going to be a month, so hopefully you have other interesting hobbies rather than watching me bloviate about the world of guitars. But I do appreciate you joining me. Thank you very much.